It rides the mountains really well. And we're just hanging out here and we're enjoying the mountains. We're enjoying the beautiful Philippines. This show is pretty much about the Philippines, how beautiful this country is. You know, it's really a beautiful country. And there's a lot of nice places to explore in the Philippines. And there's just, it's kind of like not as regulated, let's say, as where I come from, like California and stuff, because you can just kind of have the freedom to ride your motorcycle, to enjoy your life, to have freedom. You know, freedom's always good. I remember before I moved to the Philippines, I always saw the police, like the California Highway Patrol, radar gunning people, and all they wanted to do is like give tickets, and all they wanted to do was make money, and it was so regulated. And then when I came to the Philippines, there's none of that pretty much. Of course, they do have the highway patrol. They want to check if you have a license, but they're not really like radaring you for like tickets all the time. And I live in a province, and so life in the province is very like easygoing. It's very relaxing in the province. So if you come from a big city and then you go to the province, it's very relaxing, you know, it's very easygoing. And you can enjoy the nature and just enjoy a quality of life that you can't enjoy in a polluted big city. I myself am not a big city lover as far as living there, although I do like to travel to big cities and eat food. I like to go to malls. I like to have fun. However, living there full time with the traffic, the stress, the noise, and getting out of nature, it disconnects yourself, you know, from everything good. I don't really like millions of people all the time. And so it's fun to go to the city to have fun, enjoy yourself. But to live there for me, it's not really my cup of tea, because it's so nice to be able to enjoy the wilderness, enjoy the country life. Because I kind of came from a city where there's lots of people, lots of freeways in California, and it's just a mess, you know, like everything's about money. The police have quotas for giving tickets all the time. But in the Philippines, it's a lot different. And I think I have that like rebellious spirit about me that I don't like a lot of regulations all the time. And in a sense, even though it's not nice to say it, but the Philippines, as far as driving on the streets, is a little bit on the lawless side, because there's no signs of like speeding. You can just kind of go as fast as you want. There's no radar guns. There's no tickets. But there's not that many accidents, although there is accidents. But there's not as many as there is, let's say, in California. So life in the Philippines is a lot different, a lot less regulated. And that's one of the reasons why I enjoyed the Philippines, because I don't have to worry about the highway patrol always giving me tickets for like going 5 miles over the speed limit or whatever, or making the wrong turn. A couple times on my motorcycle before the races, I did wheelies. Oh, that's a violation, 15,000 pesos, doing a wheelie on the street. I mean, everything's a violation in America. But in the Philippines, I go to the police stations and I do shows for the police on the public streets. And they're like, yay, I like you. I go to the LTO here, which is like the DMV in America, and I do exhibitions on my motorcycle doing wheelies and stuff. That's where you're supposed to be good drivers. And they're all like applauding me. And everyone loves it in the Philippines. But in America, I would probably have my license taken away, and I would have a ticket by the highway patrol like I've had before. So the Philippines is like a lawless country when it comes to like driving. And there are some accidents. I've noticed some accidents lately. So I can't say there's no accidents, but the accidents are less than they are like back where I come from in California. How you doing today? I hope you're doing well. And we're just enjoying the mountains right now. It's going to be sunset pretty soon. I'm riding the KLX Kawasaki right over there, right there. I'm riding that in the mountains, and I just missed it because I've been working on some renovation lately on my house, my villa, and I've just been really busy. So I wanted to get a chance to go riding motorcycles today, go driving in the mountains, enjoying nature, and also spending some time with you. So it's nice. And like I said, to begin with, the Philippines is beautiful. The country is gorgeous. There's so much beauty in the Philippines. Just get out of the big city and then you can find more beauty. But every province is different. You know, some provinces have a lot of volcanoes and a lot of interesting places to go. I've been to provinces where they had like hot springs and volcanoes, and I've been to other provinces that had a lot of different kinds of things that I don't see and experience. And I like going on like trips because the Philippines is so beautiful, and just explore for like a few days. Fly into a city and just explore. Kick your heels up, go eat food, go enjoy yourself. However, if you want to go to the country, the best time is maybe during the summer when it's not raining or there's storms. Because I hear there's supposed to be a storm coming in like tonight or tomorrow night or something like that. So I'm getting my last motorcycle ride before the storm. And I'm very busy at my house remodeling my villa. So I've been really busy. And I plan on a trip to Cebu this next week. So I'm gonna be live streaming from Cebu, and it's gonna be fun, and I'm gonna eat lots of food. That's one thing that I don't like about living out of province, is that I can't eat all the food that I want, but maybe that's good for me because I eat a lot of bad food, to be honest with you. And when I don't have a lot of bad food around me, I don't eat it. So it's probably more healthy for me. But when I go to a big city, I usually pamper myself and usually enjoy feast. You know, at fast food restaurants that I can't go to and things like that. But it's just a once in a while thing, but it's a lot of fun. And just being in the beautiful country is really nice. Where I live, I can look out and see nature. I see the trees, the ocean. I can see birds flying. I can see beautiful things. And it affects your health. You know, when you can be around beautiful nature, God's nature, that it's good for your soul. It's good for your spirit. It helps you communicate, and it helps you like your health. So it helps in so many ways. And that's one of the things that I like about being in nature. Of course, I'm on my motorcycle today, so I can't be walking around my bare feet like I can at the beach. I have my gloves on, I have my boots, and I'm enjoying myself. But it's a different kind of fun when you're in nature, let's say on a motorcycle. And not everyone likes motorcycles or can ride a motorcycle. But being a retired motorcycle rider and won a few championships in my class, I kind of know how to ride. But I don't go on real dangerous rides. There's lots of dangerous rides in the Philippines, but I usually go on the main trails if I'm by myself for safety. But I never have problems with like people. There's a bunch of cows down here at the bottom of the hill. There's like a canopy thing down here, a blue one right down here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's some like farmer that put a canopy right behind me. I was thinking there was somebody laying there hanging out, but I guess he's down tending to his cows. So it's kind of a simple way of life in the Philippines. And so you can just enjoy the beauty of it. If you're really old and having many health problems, of course, you might want to make sure there's hospitals around so you can get to them. But if you're relatively in decent health, it's just nice to be able to like live in a province where you can just enjoy. How you doing? I'm doing good. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for commenting. I'm on this motorcycle ride on my KLX Kawasaki, and I'm just buzzing up the mountain and having fun and enjoying the beautiful Philippines. It's gorgeous. You know, what makes it so nice too is the green. Look at the green. Everywhere around me is green, the same as what you see here. And I can't really flip the camera around very easy because I have it kind of put down with my bag, but it's all green. It's beautiful. And it's so nice. Where I come from, it's really dry and it's brown. And there's lots of fires and stuff. But here in the Philippines, it's gorgeous. And it's, oh, I'm really having a good time today. I'm chilling. Today is kind of my down day. I've just been watching sports. I subscribe to like a hockey sort of live stream thing, and I'm watching some hockey and watching the World Series a little bit on YouTube, which I couldn't see it live. I'm just chilling and working on my house. It's supposed to have like a lot of rain coming in it tonight or tomorrow, but from the blue sky, you will not know when we have a storm coming. And that's one of the reasons why I'm going riding today, is because when there's lots of water out, you know, and typhoon or tropical weather, you don't want to be on a motorcycle in the mountains. But the mountains is dry right now and it's very beautiful. So I said, oh, I've been home all day just kind of watering my plants. I have a garden and stuff, and just kind of chilling and stuff. And I said, oh, I want to go riding, talking to my friend Joseph on the messenger. And he wants to come to the Philippines too and check it out and kind of go riding with me. Hopefully buy a bike, maybe a KLX if he's lucky. They're really nice. I have such a fun time on my KLX because it has all the dimensions of a big bike, but it's a smaller, lighter bike. Good for like safety, and also good for the mountains and the jungle, because the jungle is just down here a little ways. We have the jungle. So I passed the jungle coming up to the mountains, and it's really fun. And I don't, like I say, I don't go on really hard rides nowadays. I just kind of chill and putt. You know, I'm not really into like extreme sports where I'm gonna possibly get lost somewhere and die. Like the Philippines has some wild country. You know, it's dangerous if you like go off the beaten path and nobody knows where you're at. So you kind of want to stay safety, especially if you're by yourself. But sometimes I go with the Filipino guys and we go really extreme, but we have like 4 or 5 guys. So if there's a problem, there's lots of people to help. But if you're alone, you do not do that, because this is wild country in the Philippines. And it's a lot of fun, but you just have to always be smart and think safety. So, how you doing? Hello. Hello from the Philippines. We love this country. Like I say, it's so beautiful and so peaceful, and like it's just so cool that you don't have to like be stressed out all the time. And you know, stress is one of the leading causes for people passing away. And just having that kind of lifestyle where you're always stressed out, and you know, there's lots of bad people around you, and kind of like where you just can't sort of relax and breathe fresh air and smell the roses. But in the Philippines, in the provinces, you can really do that and get away. I have a nice life in the province, and everyone has their own story. Everyone has their own life. And a lot of foreigners, they all have different kinds of lives. So we're all kind of different. And I enjoy my life in the Philippines. And I had a foreigner message me last week. He was in Manila, and he said, like, people aren't nice to me in Manila, you know, like I'm going back to Thailand. And I'm like, well, you're in a big city in Manila, so it's different than, let's say, a province, because when I'm in the big cities, whether it's Cebu or Manila, I feel very nervous, you know, as far as like I have to be careful with my money and stuff like that, my bag. I have to be protective of everything. There's lots of people. You know, you still can't trust everyone. Even though you're in this beautiful country of the Philippines, you have to always think safety, and you always have to protect your belongings. But when you're in the province, there's not a lot of people here except for cows and the farmer that walks up the mountain, you know. It's a very like backwards but it makes it fun because there's nobody to like mess with you, and you don't have to worry so much like if you're in the city. So I enjoy it. I have relatively good health, so I never have really any problems. I mentioned to Joseph 6 years ago, I broke my feet, my heel bones. So that messed me up for like a few months. And that was bad, but I just went to a hospital and, you know, had to recuperate from that. But I feel great. And, you know, I wouldn't trade my life in the province for nothing. I mean, it's fantastic lifestyle. And like I say, the health benefits is really great because you breathe fresh air, you drink fresh water, there's no government spraying pollutants in the sky, trying to kill everybody like the last administration did in America. They're trying to kill people with toxic pollution in the sky. They're spraying that stuff. Can you imagine that? But here in the Philippines, do you see that? No, you don't see that. The government's not going to do that to the people. There's lots of pros and cons to everywhere you go. But the Philippines, they do not harm the people. Let's say the government, for example. And you know, nowhere is perfect. I mean, you're not going to find a perfect world, maybe in the next life or something. But in this world, nothing is perfect. People are not perfect, even though the Philippine people are basically good. But you have to always be alert. You have to always watch your possessions. You have to always like be careful and not trust easy. And when I first moved to the Philippines, I trusted easy. And I had all kinds of problems, you know, people stealing and things like that. I couldn't believe it because there are a lot of small petty thefts going on in the Philippines, a lot. And you just have to always be extra careful and not trust easy. And having been in the Philippines for a while, I've learned to like be careful and not trust easy. And that's really been sort of good for me. A lot of people who come to the Philippines knew, like me, when I came, they trust people because, you know, you got to trust people. And then if you trust too much the wrong people, then bad things can happen, like they could steal. But there's not major crimes typically, especially with foreigners, but there's a lot of petty theft and stuff going on in the Philippines that you have to always be alert and stuff. And just be careful because nobody likes to lose their possessions. And it's just nice though. It's beautiful. And like I say, the health benefits of walking the beach. We walk the beach sometimes. We get to the beach and walk barefoot and smell that salt air and go swimming in that beautiful ocean. And it's so nice. And we have sort of bugs chirping in the background here in the mountains and just being with nature. I'm looking around for people. I think there's a farmer down here. I don't know where he is. There's some cows way down there. And these people don't bother you. Like they're always like smile and friendly because like they don't care. And although a lot of the trails and wilderness seem to be getting developed with time, everything changes in this world, but there's still a lot of places to explore in the Philippines. A lot of beautiful things to see. And the people, like I say, are cool. So you can really have a good life. I'm just nervous about getting too adventurous, especially with like rainstorms and stuff coming. You got to be careful. You got to protect yourself and not go like where it's dangerous or where the rainstorm's really hitting, like landfall. But the Philippines does have a lot of heavy storms come in. But as you can see today, it's beautiful. But we live in an area where a lot of storms, they generate off of the country or island of Guam, and they kind of beeline straight towards the Philippines. So we do tend to get lots of storms, and we're into the storm season right now, the rainy season. But I like it. It's fun. You know, I enjoy it. And sometimes I go out in the storms and the rain, and I do make shows and have fun. And Sometimes I go out in the ocean. You're not really supposed to do that, but you know, unless you get caught, I guess it's okay. But I'm used to getting like a little bit like that because I grew up at the beach and we have more extreme water waves than, let's say, here in the Philippines. So as a child, I got used to surfing and going in the very terrible waves. So it's not a big deal for me, and I do a lot of scuba diving and stuff, so it's not really like a big deal. But you just have to be careful and put yourself in a good position. And I just always enjoy, you know, the nature part of this country and the beauty. I mean, how can you not enjoy the beauty of the Philippines? It's so cool. And there's so much, like, it's just relaxing. There's not a lot of signs saying, don't do this, don't do that. You must do go here, you must go there. The Philippines is kind of, like I say, it's like a wild country where it's lawless in the sense that when you're driving, you don't have to worry about it. When I'm here in the mountains, I don't have to worry about it. You can just enjoy your life. There's no, like in America, everything is, there's barbed wire fences everywhere. You can't do this, you can't do that. There's police giving you tickets. But in the Philippines, it's much different. You can just enjoy your life and you can just chill. Of course, you don't want to hurt nobody or do anything bad, but just, you know, just having fun riding a motorcycle. You can't do that in California. You know, if you're driving your truck, you have to always like be alert. Oh, am I doing this? Am I doing that? Am I not? But in the Philippines, you can just drive your truck or car and enjoy. So, how you doing? Tom Cruise. Ooh! Yeah, you know, my sister always said that. She always said, like, I have a brother that looks like Tom Cruise. And she always like would talk like that. And I haven't talked to my sister in a long time, so maybe she don't think that no more. But she used to say, oh, I have a handsome brother that looks like Tom Cruise. But it's cool. I like Tom Cruise too. I like his movies, and he's cool. I especially like the Top Gun movies, and I went and saw, like, I like the original Top Gun, and then the last one like a year ago. I'm not really so much into the Mission Impossible stuff. It's a little wild, but I like the Top Gun. I like the airplanes and stuff like that. So I think that's cool. And Tom Cruise is cool. And I loved him in that movie. It was so cool. And when he was young, he was very handsome and he was very cool. And he still is cool. So thank you very much. Yeah, just enjoy it and just have a good life. And, you know, Tom Cruise probably doesn't have as good a life as I do, even though he has more money and he's more famous, but he probably doesn't live in the Philippines, and he probably doesn't travel around Asia and see the amazing country and have the experiences that I have. So I feel more blessed, more rich than even Tom Cruise, because life in the Philippines, in this beautiful country, is way better than living in Hollywood, that's for sure. I lived near Hollywood. I lived in Orange County, which is 1 hour south of Hollywood. And it's a rat race there, and people are not happy. You know, a lot of these movie actors are not happy. They end their life early, and they're depressed, and they have all this money, and then they're not happy, because happiness comes from within. You know, that's the main thing, is that you have to be happy within yourself. You can't be happy just like making money. You see a lot of people in America, I see a lot of the politicians, they're corrupting the people in America, and they're so unhappy, and all they want to do is keep corrupting the people. But I see these people, they're so miserable, and they can't enjoy money because they're stealing it, and you know, that doesn't make you happy. But happiness comes from within. It doesn't come from like money or something like that. So yeah, so the main thing is in life is to have that experience, because life is not forever, and we must really enjoy each and every day of the life. And all the money in the world doesn't like save you, you know. Like, I had a friend that had $15 billion. His family had a big pharmaceutical company in America several years ago, and it was one of the biggest manufacturers of like prescription drugs, where they make them for like Pfizer and all these different drug companies to sell. And they had big warehouses all over America, and the company was worth so much money. It was legal drugs, because they were selling to all these Johnson and Johnson and Pfizer and stuff. And these people had so much money, yet they were so unhappy. And he drank himself to death. He actually drank, he was only like 40 years old. And he needed like an operation for his kidney or whatever. And he couldn't get one because there was no matching donors. And he was one of my best friends. And we had a lot of fun. And he had a lot of money. And we drove his Ferrari some fun places. I'm lucky I'm still alive after some of the car trips we took on. It got kind of crazy. But he died because he was a drinker, and he drank himself to death. He had so much money that he didn't care, because money didn't matter. And then that killed him because of drinking. So, and he couldn't get a transplant for his kidney because he couldn't find a donor to match. But all the money in the world did not save Humpty Dumpty. It does not help you. That's why it's important to keep your health good, to not be a heavy partier, drinking and doing things to harm your body, because life is really golden and it's really precious and it's really beautiful in the Philippines. It's really a gorgeous, beautiful country. And why shorten our life when we could have more days of this beautiful existence? And I don't understand, you know, people sometimes, because it all is how we're thinking inside. Let's say we're at a party, for example, and let's say we're having a good time. We're talking to people, and people are coming up to us and we're talking, and we have a great experience meeting new people, talking. And then we leave the party, and the next day we're like, that was the best party, you know. I talked to lots of people and enjoyed myself, and I met lots of new people, and I just had a great time at that party. And then the next guy that goes to that party, he sits in the corner and he doesn't really meet anyone. And he's kind of like not having a good time, let's say. And the next day he comes home and says, you know, that was the worst party of my life. It was boring. I didn't have a good time. And I just sat in the corner and nobody talked to me. And I will never go back to that party again. So that story explains that it's what matters on the inside. We could go to a party and have a great time, or we could go to a party and have a terrible time. And the same is true with life. We can enjoy the beautiful nature, or we could just choose to harm ourselves and not enjoy it, and then say, this is a horrible life. I'm having a terrible time. And that's why I say it's important to enjoy each and every day and take care of yourself, because our bodies are very sort of precious, and they're like temples, and they're fragile. You know, you think, oh, well, but people who don't take care of their bodies, even sports stars, celebrities, they don't make it because our bodies are fragile. So always try to take care of yourself. And I do the best to try to take care of myself. That's why living in the Philippines has been a blessing for me, because I've been able to enjoy this beautiful country. And also being in a province, I haven't been eating the bad foods as much as I did in the city. So that is good for my body, is not eating Burger King all the time or eating, you know, In-N-Out burgers in California. So I love that food, but if you eat it too much, it's not healthy for you. So you have to really live your life so that you enjoy the things of life, but you don't indulge in the things of life that may be harmful for you. But when I go to a big city, I'm going to enjoy eating bad foods. I'm going to have fun eating, you know, Carl's. They don't have Carl's Jr. here. Eating Wendy's or eating Burger King, and, you know, going and enjoying the New York style pizza at S&R and stuff. I'm going to enjoy all this stuff. I love that stuff. Don't kid yourself. But I can't eat it every day. If you eat that stuff every day, you know, it's bad for your health. So yeah, so that's kind of the thing, is that you have to enjoy your life, but you have to do it in moderation, and you have to be careful. I don't personally drink alcohol, but I guess if I drank a few sips here and there, it probably wouldn't kill me. So you have to do it in moderation. But the problem is, a lot of people, not me, but a lot of people, let's say they just want to drink a couple sips of alcohol or whatever, or smoke cigarettes or whatever, they become addicted to it. So now this harmless couple sips of alcohol, or let's say smoking a couple cigarettes or whatever, now it becomes an addiction. Now people can't stop it. And that's where the harm comes in, when people become so addicted to harmful substances. Their body suffers and their life is shortened as a result. That's why it's good maybe not to do it at all, and that way you won't be like addicted to it. So I have family members who are young who have passed away, in part because of some of the substances and stuff, much younger than me. And when we violate the rules of health, you know, any age can be affected by it. It's not just old people, it's young people too. And in the Philippines, I notice a lot of people pass away younger because of their habits of eating. And I hate to say that, and I hate to see that, but a lot of people eat a lot of like lichen pig, which is probably bad for you if you eat too much of it. And I like eating bacon and lettuce tomato sandwich, and so I eat some pig too. But some people overeat things like that, and it's bad for your heart and stuff, and you can have heart attacks. So everything in moderation is probably okay. But it's when we get addicted to things, and also in the Philippines, a lot of the guys drink and smoke. Everybody, it seems like lots of guys do that, and it's sad because it's so unhealthy to be addicted to alcohol and cigarettes. And alcohol is one of the leading causes of crashing motorcycles on the street. People drinking, getting drunk and driving, and then they pass away. Every year, I see people I know or whatever, 2 or 3 or 4 people in my immediate area that pass away as a result of drinking and driving. So it's very serious and it's very harmful. Last New Year's, a little 15, 16-year-old boy in my neighborhood, he passed away drunk on New Year's, this past New Year's 2025. So it's very serious, and it's important to prolong your life as much as possible, and be thankful every day you wake up and you're alive, because it's beautiful. And you know, you should really take life, like enjoy it every day, because life is not like guaranteed forever. Every day is a blessing from God that we have of this life, because we should not take that for granted, because one day that will be the last day of our life. Everybody, we're all born on this earth, and we all must pass from this earth. So just remember that it's just so precious to have this time. And every day that I have in the Philippines, I am very grateful, because it's so beautiful, the country, and I make happiness every day. I don't like go to other people and say, make my happiness, make my happiness. I just make my own happiness, you know, like I find the things that I like to do and I do them. And I don't rely on everybody. I just rely on myself, because I grew up with a couple sisters older than me, and I grew up more of a only child, because I didn't hang out with any of my siblings. So I always found ways to entertain myself when I was a child. And even now, I find ways to entertain myself, and I'm very happy. And I don't need a bunch of people to make me happy, because I can find happiness everywhere I go, because it's a beautiful world. And why be unhappy? And that's why it makes me sad when I see people who, like, I even see lots of teenagers, even in the Philippines, they just like, they want to end their life and stuff. And I'm like, what is this? Like, why would you want to end your life? Because it's so beautiful in the Philippines. And it's such a good world, you know, that we live in. And it's so short, the time. So it just doesn't make sense to, like, you know, want to see that go away so fast. But it's a beautiful country. We're having a good time in the Philippines. We're riding that KLX 140. It's fun. It's a good time. I just ride up the mountains and have a great time and enjoy the beauty of the country. It's just like being in nature. It's like being high on a substance, because it's natural and it's beautiful, and you can just like enjoy yourself without the repercussions of being intoxicated. And so I kind of believe that you can be high on life. You can just be high on living. You don't have to take substances that alter your state of mind to be happy, but you can find happiness wherever you go. And this beautiful country, it's easy to find that happiness. But tonight or tomorrow morning or something, they're supposed to start having some rain. So we're just enjoying the country before the rains come. And we want to wish everyone to stay safe. Make sure your roofs are hammered on properly before the storm. Make sure that a lot of people in the Philippines, not everyone, but a lot of people that live in the provinces, they have like metal roofs, and some people even have bamboo style houses or wood houses and stuff. Got to make sure that it's buckled down in case this storm is strong. They say it could be fairly strong. So just make sure that you're careful and make sure that your family is protected, because life is fragile. You know, these little children and stuff, they can't protect themselves. That's why they need the adults, the dads especially, to make sure their houses are prepared so that when the storm comes, that their family is safe. The little babies, they can't take care of themselves very well. You know, they're just little children. So you got to make sure that these kids are not in harm's way with typhoons and storms and stuff. And we have probably, I think, another like month or so of the rainy season, and then it's going to go into summer. But we're still in the rainy season, even though we're having a beautiful day today. That's the way the Philippines is. It's a beautiful day like this, and then also the next day, wham, the storm hits. It's like that all the time. So protect your family, protect yourself, and make sure your house is secure, and make sure you're safe. Make sure your children and your wife is safe if you're a man. Make sure your family is taken care of, because it's very important to protect your family as a man, especially, and to make sure your house is safe for the bad weather. Even though we have bad weather in the Philippines, it's so beautiful, and after the rainstorm or whatever, it's so everything is beautiful, clean, fresh air. So it's not really a bad thing if we have rainstorms, because after the rainstorms, life is so nice. And like I mentioned before, if there is damage to people's houses, the Filipino people, they get together and they help their neighbors fix it and stuff. So the people are good here in the Philippines. The barangays come together, and the people will all join and move the trees off the road if there's trees falling down, or clean up the leaves and fix the people's houses that have damage. The Filipino people are very special, and they help each other, especially the friends. Maybe if you don't like somebody, maybe you don't help them. But there's Filipinos are sociable people, and lots of Filipinos have lots of friends and family. So people are helping each other, and that's what makes the Philippines such a special race also. But it's fun in the Philippines, and just be safe. We're supposed to have bad weather coming, and I'm trying to do everything I can do to be safe also. But we're here motorcycle riding, and we're going to go riding before we go home and enjoy this. But thank you for hanging out today, and just enjoy life as best you can, because like I say, it's so great. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. I should have mentioned that more, because we're almost at 10,000 subscribers, which is cool, and 4 million videos watched. So that's pretty neat. I never thought that would happen, so I'm kind of humbled by that. And so I just do the shows for fun. I have a good time, and I enjoy sharing this beautiful country with people because there's so much beautiful nature. And I got the trees over here casting shadows on my face, and we got the bugs chirping in the background, and it's just so gorgeous. I'm on top of the mountains here, so it's beautiful. I'm looking all over and just seeing beautiful country, and it makes me feel good. Makes me feel good to be alive, to enjoy it. So take care of yourself. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you for watching the live stream on top of the great mountain. We're on top of the mountains. Now I can go down the mountain and just go riding and have a good time and enjoy this beautiful country they call the Philippines. Thank you once again. And we're going to see you, of course. We're going to see you again. We're going to see you next time. Thanks once again. Take care. God bless. I'm going to take my gloves off. Hold on. I got to shut this live stream off. I got my gloves on for riding. And we're going to see you, of course. We're going to see you next time. God bless you.